What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening, everybody? Sunday night pop-up show. What's going on? So, hey, let me work. I gotta work my angles. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Jigsquad Sunday night edition. Just me tonight. Eric is in Nag's Head, and I'm off tomorrow. So I said I just want to get on and talk a little bit. So here we are. I'm not used to playing with the settings when I'm by myself. So now I got to just make some adjustments. I don't have to make anything. What's going on, Bass? Brian's Custom Tackle. Clint. Who else we got here? I saw Andrew fishing the 262. What's going on, guys? Who else? I'm scrolling up. Jig Squad's in there, too. Who knows who will come in? Most of the people. Brandon, what's happening, buddy? How are you? So, yeah, guys, we didn't have a show last week, so I don't have so one of the things is I don't have a means to have a forum to kind of how's it sound? Everything okay? I kind of didn't put as much time into my normal stuff because I didn't have a guest tonight. So I kind of got to hang out a little bit and didn't have to worry. Toxic bass jigs is in the house. That's crazy. Andrew's saying he tried to pour a few jigs today, and your pot is a disaster. So Andrew, it's probably because you just moved, buddy. You might need to get a new pot. So yeah, I kind of said, Larry Hadley, what's up, buddy? I kind of said I wanted to hop on because we didn't have a show last week, and I don't have a way. I posted on my Instagram story a couple of times that no show last week. But I don't know if everyone sees the story, right? So, and I didn't want to make a straight up Instagram post. I'm doing good, Larry. I didn't want to do a straight up Instagram post, but see a lot of people that have been, if they have more followers and stuff, I don't know if it's over 1,000 followers or what it is on YouTube, you get your little community tab and you can make posts and little updates. But well, I don't have that. So if I don't make a post on Instagram or put it in my story, there's no there's no way for me to tell what's going on. Yeah. Yes, Duff. So I shared the link with Eric, but he and I talked today. He was fishing a tournament this weekend with Scooter Lily. And they'll be able to talk about that maybe tomorrow night if he's on Travis's stream. But they had a rough go. They had some battery problems, had to go get batteries. But he wound up going down to North Carolina. He's got a place down in Nag's Head, and he was going there tonight, meeting up with one of his friends. So I invited him, but it was kind of a last minute thing. So that I wanted to get on tonight. So I don't have this communication way of talking with you guys. So kind of I just want to share some happenings, some updates, kind of what the year has been like so far, and then and just give you some updates. And I don't there's not a lot of other ways for me to do that other than to jump on here and try and talk a bit. So which I normally don't do on Sunday nights. Okay. So a couple things. Where are we going to start? So how many people, is anyone out there? Does anyone see the post on Instagram where when the spam bots spam all the time? Like somebody asked, why do you post stuff on Mexican food all the time? And I'm I reply to all the spam bots. When they say send whatever, send picture, I say send tacos, and I just make up funny stuff. Some of you know that, some of you don't. But the reality is I reply to all the spam bots. I thought, well, that can't hurt the Instagram algorithm at all. So if anyone's wondering why I post things all the time about tacos, tortas, enchiladas, that's my way of sticking it right back at the bot. So if you ever see in chat somebody make a comment or make a post about tacos, or sometimes guys like to make it an Italian theme and throw food names out there. Now that I said this, you'll go on Instagram and you'll watch and you'll see when I respond to all the spam bots. So anyway, that was a question I had. Why do I talk about food all the time? And that's why I talk about food all the time. And I love tacos. So they say send pictures. I say send tacos. So that was one. I got a whole list. I got a whole list of things tonight that I want to talk about. Look at Andrew. Andrew says he replies with cocktails or soft plastic colors. I don't know. Sure. Sounds good. I used to tell him, Trippy, TJ, what's happening, buddy? I used to tell him all the time, I hope you knock your minnow bucket over and spill all the bait. But, I thought that was funny. And now the joke, I waited for a while to see who picked up on the fact that I would say stuff about Backlash. What's up, buddy? About tacos and stuff. I run out of names. Brian says the bots are taking over. They were bad today. Once I get down towards the bottom of the list, it's tacos, tortas, enchiladas, salsa. Once I start having to use like frijoles charros and carne asada, now I know that I'm getting too far down the list. And then I look at my post and it's just like a list of all these spam Mexican food names. Hey, but that's my thing. That's what I do. That's what Instagram is all about. So, so the shows. All right, so let's get this one. So last week, my son's birthday, and I wasn't going to do a show on my son's birthday on the 3rd. So I took it off. But with that, I just want to throw out a little accolade for Jigsquad right now. So we went 9 weeks in a row. No interruptions, no breaks. We didn't take a week off. Last week was the first week. So the 10th week we took off. See, quesadilla, churro. See, those are new ones. I have to add those onto the list. I was putting queso fresco out there, but Brennan has it right. I think quesadilla and churro just made the list. So actually, Brennan's the one, guys. Brennan Chapman's the guy that started throwing out some Italian foods the other day, which I got a big kick out of. But anyway, like I said, those are the foods. So, yeah, no, I appreciate it, Clint. I'm trying. Hey guys, I tell you guys every show, I'm like, I'm just trying to be me and do my thing, and you guys know. You guys see how Eric and I vibe together. We just we just love cool stuff. We geek out on this stuff. And, let's be honest. I mean, Eric's known for being a crankbait guy, but at the end of the day, he can keep his crankbaits. I'm a jig guy. So like, I like Eric coming and geeking out with jigs. So, and he loves it too. So we play off each other really well. And so here's what's going to happen with the show coming up, guys. So the next 2 weeks. So this week, Derek from Deeks Jigs was scheduled to be on the show, and what happened is he had a change at work. They're obviously short staffed, like many places around the country right now, and he had some work schedule changes. They're short guys, so he is not going to be able to do the show. So I had to call in my I have a list of people on that that I know that I want to get in time, but I'm like, so I went right to my list, and who's up? Brennan Chapman. So this is what I'm going to say about this coming week's show. So Brennan Chapman is the production manager for Do It Molds. Yes, I know that. But here's the deal. So he's been on a couple shows lately. Great shows. He was on Burley. I think, who else did he go on? Burley for sure. I think Alex Rudd and Ben had him on, Ben Nowak. So a lot of cool discussions. But here's the thing. The reason I'm jammed up on liking Brennan Chapman is because if you saw the new colors that were posted for the Do It Molds, or the Protect colors that came out, Bama Craw, Go Time, and Bruiser Gill, the jigs that were on the Do It page were made by Brennan. So he's the one. And if you don't follow Brennan Chapman on Instagram, you should, because this guy drops all kinds of cool little nuggets. Tasman, what's going on, buddy? So Brennan drops all kinds of nuggets on his Instagram story all the time. So if you're not an Instagram story watcher, you should watch Brennan Chapman's Instagram, because he was posting pictures of some of these jigs before the colors even came out. So, but anyway, Brennan is a phenomenal tire. He's a phenomenal designer. And outside of his work with Do It Molds, I'm having him on the show because I think he's a phenomenal designer and he deserves his time in the spotlight. So I'm bringing Brennan on. And so Eric will be part of the show, so just because he's not here tonight, this is a pop-up show. Things are a little different. I made the decision at like 10 o'clock this morning. I sent a text to Eric. I go, hey, call me. And he was out fishing. But anyway, so Brennan's coming in this Thursday. And then the next week after that, we have Ryan Whitaker from Tightrope Jigs is going to be on. Now, Ryan was supposed to be my second show guest back in January. Had some health stuff come up literally the week before the show. We had to change the schedule, and I basically already had the shows booked up until the middle of March. So yeah, let me repeat that so you guys hear that. So in January, by January 1, I had already had the shows booked up to the middle of March. So it gives you an idea of like how far in advance I'm planning for all these things, right? And that's why I kind of want to do tonight, because this kind of maybe this gives you guys like it all a little. I want to give you guys a behind the scenes of how Jig Squad works a little bit, right? So I don't know, I'm not this big time YouTuber, but I think I could share with you the experience and how this works, and and stuff like that. And maybe some of you want to hear, maybe some of you don't, but nonetheless, this is what you get tonight. So it's just Kuda talking. So, but anyway, so like those are the next 2 week shows. The week after that, the last, what is it? Let me look at my calendar. So the next 2 weeks, this Thursday and the next Thursday, we have shows. The week after that, I'm taking off because I'm on spring break from school and I'm going to spend time with my family. At the end of the month, I'm just, you know what? Here, let me go to it. I'm just going to tell you who's coming up just so you guys have an idea. He's in the room. So Trippy Sticks is going to be joining us on the 31st. All right. So next 2 weeks we have shows, a week off, then Trippy Sticks is coming in and he's in chat. Now Trippy Sticks makes a lot of crappie stuff, but he also makes a lot of micro or smaller size bass jigs, some skirted stuff. He's a phenomenal designer and I'm excited to get him in. Here's where the changes are coming though, folks. After Trippy, we are going to an every other week format until I can get to the summer. And I want to tell you why. A couple reasons. One, I'm going to be scheduling shows out to get us to the end of May, right? But it's going to be an every other week format. Yeah, you know what? Keep your lines wet and rods bent. Family comes first, right? So now listen, I'll tell you, this is kind of hard for me because I love all this, right? But I will tell you that the number one thing that I talked about when I started Jig Squad was I said, I'm not going to let this take over my life. And I put a lot of time in on all this, you know, talking to people, coming on the shows, communicating back and forth, working on graphics. And that's kind of the behind the scenes thing that people don't get to see. And so what happens when we get to the spring for me, you know, I'm an administrator at a high school, right? So what happens is it's a busy time of the year, right? Just imagine all the things that happen in high school as we move towards the end of the year for kids graduating, end of the year processes. So it's a big time. I put in a lot of nights and which is all fine and dandy, but at the same time, I want to keep my sanity too. So by scheduling shows every other week, that allows me to keep my sanity, but it does another thing too. If there's any situations come up that are pop-ups or I can squeeze in shows, I can always do that. So it gives me a little bit of liberty to adjust. Like I just said with the Ryan Whitaker thing, I mean, Ryan was supposed to come on the show in January. And now here it is, you know, the second week in, you know, March, he's going to come on. So it takes a little time. So it's going to be every other week for April and May. So what is June going to look like? What is July going to look like? It's just going to depend on what's going on. So in June, I'm going to be heading up to Mille Lacs. I know there's going to be a Thursday I'm going to miss there. And then also I'm planning on going on a trip with my family. So there'll be some adjustments. There'll be plenty of fishing going on. I want to get up to Sturgeon Bay, Door County area. I want to get out to Iowa to see the Do It people. You know, maybe I may be going down to Florida in July. It's just going to depend on how things shake out. So I'm going to try and get as many shows as I can. Now, the other thing is this come the summertime, the goal is going to be to still keep Thursday night shows, right? But if there's a chance for us to do pop-up shows or other night shows, we might try and do that as well. It's fishing season, folks. So we all got to get out and fish, right? So I just wanted to give you guys an idea that's coming. This will be memorialized because I'm saving the show. I didn't put it that would disappear after tonight. Yeah, Duffy. Yes. Debo's on the list. There's a lot of people involved. Some of you guys know this, maybe all of you don't. So I represent myself, Barracuda 8U, my Instagram account, right? Mike Murphy. I work with one company and one company only. I work with Do It Molds. So that's what I do. I don't have multiple sponsors or any of these other things. I literally work with one company. And so that doesn't mean that I'm, you know, I don't like other companies. I did some work with X Zone before with Jim Van Ryn, the owner of X Zone. Before I decided I kind of needed to dedicate my time to Jig Squad. But you know, anything can happen, you know? So, God, look at these great ideas. So on the fly tackle, Door County fishing meetup and barbecue. See, that's a great idea. And I think that we got to keep that in mind because there's other people. I know Brennan heads up there. I don't know. Brennan heads up there and he's usually up there in May, right before the big tournaments start. I usually don't get up there till June. but I could be coaxed up there any time of the year, to be honest with you. I think Ken 028, who's in the chat sometimes, he's up there. Yeah, Gary on. Yeah, jig tying should be part of the curriculum. Great comment. Santone, yeah, Clint, absolutely. And Duffy, same thing. Even a Chicago meetup. So Duffy, hey, keep that in mind because we could do something like that. I don't know if you're on Instagram, Duffy. Let's connect and talk, but those are all good ideas. Yeah, so Brendan's going to be there before you open. So it just gives you guys an idea. The thing is, Jig Squad's not going anywhere. I owe no one anything, right? I don't have sponsors I have to uphold to. And just for the record, like my work with Do It is like I'm a jig designer. Jig Squad is just a show to highlight other people. So, maybe there'll be other things that come in time. But right now, it's like I Mike Murphy, work with Jig Squad. That's what I do. I make cool jigs. I like posting cool pics. Jig Squad's taking me away from that a little bit by getting everything up and started. But I kind of want to make some cool jigs again. Like I'm excited to craft a little more. But it's all part of how it goes, right? So let me check chat real quick here, guys. I don't want to miss anything that people are talking about. I know we're talking about the different things. So Duff, you said hooking up with Debo in Iowa. So my goal would be that when I do head out to Iowa, it would be to hook up with different people, right? So the Do It people, anyone else that would be heading out that way, any of my other ambassadors that do stuff with Do It, I would like to connect. So I really want to head out to Do It, and it's going to happen. I'd like to head out there to fish too. But no matter what, I mean, these are all things that are kind of, on the list. And so, like everyone's been asking me too, like another thing, like everyone said, well, Kuda, how, what are you beholden to with Jig Squad? And so, I don't know how else to say it. Like I'm beholden to nobody, right? Jig Squad is just, it is like I said, it's grassroots, and, I know we don't have a guest on tonight, but I think I just want you guys to hear the behind the scenes. This is Jig Squad is about building things up, bringing people together, and seeing what we can make of it. Maybe it becomes more things down the line. But I will say this: I definitively do not have a definite plan for what Jig Squad becomes. I want to prove to everyone that you can go and do something like this and make a hashtag. Jig Squad started out as a hashtag, right? You make a hashtag, you decide to make a show, you decide you want to interview people. And Team Lopez, what's up, buddy? And then you just go with it. And so whatever this becomes, that's the best part. Vince, what's going on, buddy? It is what it is. And so, you guys, anyone who knows my regular page at Barracuda8U on Instagram, like, that I haven't been posting as many things. I did a little video last month for Do It on the wacky jig heads that I was talking about, but lots of new cool stuff coming from me. So Bass, what are you saying here? Let's see. My girlfriend is from, we do go down that way once in a while, but haven't fished there yet. Yeah. Yeah, E-Stack, very well said, buddy. The journey is the plan. So, some of the other people that, here, let me highlight a few of the other people that are going to be on. So Trippy Sticks is going to be on. I got my list. Let me pull up my list here. I got it on my phone. So Trippy Sticks is going to be on. The week after that, April 7th, we're off. April 14th, the one and only Larry Hadley will be joining us. April 14th. You guys have heard me. If you've been on the show before, you've heard me talk about nature cuts. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. Just having fun, right? Larry Hadley is going to be on. You guys know I rave about him and his painting designs. But what I love his paint. Larry Hadley's paint. If you look for him on Instagram, he's the guy that the multicolored, swirled colored ultraminnow heads. That he makes jigs for saltwater. He does some things on the manic mullet heads as well as the ultraminnow heads, but mostly bucktail for saltwater. And I'm heavily, a lot of influences for me come from the saltwater world, and Larry Hadley's style designs are similar, right? And then you'll get like a different profile of bucktails when you talk to Ben Tesh and the guys up in Wisconsin that are designing stuff. So now then a week off, and then on the 28th of April, I'm really excited about this, and I don't know if she's out there tonight, but I'm just going to say this. So Tall Tail Jigs is going to be joining us. So if you go and scroll back through, that's the 28th of April. So if you go and scroll through some of my stuff for some old hair jigs, you look up Tall Tail Jigs, and it's not Tall Tails, Tall Tail Jigs. And if you no spaces, if you look for their Instagram, I'll post another tie of Tall Tail Jigs soon. But they're going to be on April 28th, and then Deeks is going to be. Hopefully, I'm getting Deeks back in May, and I have one other that I'm working on, and I should be able to finalize tomorrow. But this is what I want to say about Tall Tail Jigs. So Tall Tail Jigs is the proprietor of Tall Tail Jigs is somebody by the name of Jen McDonald. You heard me right, Jen McDonald. And I'm super stoked and I'm super excited. There's two female jig designers that I have on my list. What's happening, Gramps? Gary, what's up, buddy? Gary, I'm going to go back to your comment and South Jersey Fisherman in a second, guys. I'm super excited to highlight some female jig makers. Why? Am I highlighting them because they're female? No, I'm going to be honest with you. Tall Tails Jigs, I had no idea was a female jig designer until before I invite somebody on the show, I go and do my homework on them, right? But Tall Tails Jigs, Jen McDonald is the proprietor. She's in British Columbia, and she makes jigs for salmon, steelhead, bass, multi-species, and she ties some killer stuff. And I'm super excited to get and Brian, that's the other one. K&S is the other one that I'm looking at in that category. So anyway, I'm just giving you an idea of some things coming up. So some different types of designers. We're gonna have some bucktail. We got some and crazy painting designs with Larry Hadley. Some ultra feather designers coming up. And it's just gonna be fun. So yeah, so that gives you an idea of what's coming up. You know, I have a couple offers coming in to me of like going on other people's shows now. So the other thing is I kind of want to take that into account. And so that's all going to be considered into the breakup of, going every other week going forward. So here, let me look at these two. Nature Cuts, appreciate the words. Yeah, the goal is to have fun. And we just like doing it, and it's got to stay that way. South Jersey, what's up, buddy? I appreciate the kind words. Eric's a great dude. I love him. We play off each other well. We have a lot of fun, and there's no holds barred. It's just kind of, it is what it is. I try and run a clean show. That's important to me too. All right. So Gary, let's see what Gary said. I should highlight these. Could do these things. I forget that I'm in charge of the buttons. Yes. All right. So the skirt holder last week. All right. So if anyone who didn't see it, if anyone didn't see John DeMay on the show last week from Dem Jigs, DEM Jigs, he showed at the end of the show. Hopefully you go back and watch the whole replay, but if you don't, you can go watch the end. And he shows a jig holder that he basically made off of a bobbin. Look, basically, if you consider what a bobbin cradle looks like on a vise, and he designed it with a clamp on it, where he could hold the material. Great design. And that's what Gary's talking about. He made some, it's basically a tool to help you hold your skirts on the vise, whatever you're using. But anyway, these are all the cool things that happen. Once in a while, you hear some fun things. I'm going to drop a couple of little gems tonight of some cool things because I don't get to talk about them that much. So look at Brian's talking about Mike Iovino. I love Mike Iovino. He's a great dude. He ties with a lot of Arctic fox, foxtail, some different type of stuff than just marabou and bucktail. So it's kind of nice looking at his stuff. Let's see. Yeah, it was a pretty cool trick. So here, listen, I'm gonna have to post this on my show tonight. So you guys have all heard me talk about the heat shrink technique. So let's just drop that little nugget right now. So the heat shrink technique. Okay, so if you're trying to keep your jig eyes clean, let's say you're not using a fluid bed, right? And so like Gramps is in the room. Gramps, this is for you too, buddy. So when you go to start painting, right, you can buy the heat shrink. It's a 2-to-1 reduction heat shrink. And I can provide, if you message me on Instagram, I'll give you the links. whatever you need, I will get you hooked up with the right stuff. You can get a roll of like 150 yards of this stuff, enough to last you a nice time, lifetime. Evan, what's up? I'm ready to tackle in the house. So it's like $10 for a roll. It's going to last you a lifetime. You cut it into little pieces. And basically you slide a little piece of the heat shrink over the eyelet of your hook. And when you hold it over the heat gun, it reduces from 2 to 1. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Here, hold on. I'm going to do it right now because I made a little. This is going to be crazy. Hold on. I might be able to do it. Yeah. Wait. No. Let me go back. Let me copy this link. Here. Let me do this now. I'm going to post this in chat. It's probably going to be a little longer, obviously, because I'm not going to tiny URL it. No, that's not too bad. All right. So if you follow that link or copy that link, I don't know. How does that look in YouTube? Does it show as a link? Let's see. I'm on a few second delay. So let me see. Oh, yeah. So it's a clickable link because I'm the caster of the stream. So anyway, if you follow that link, you'll see 3/32 and 1/8. You can get 1/8 as well. So you use the two, and depending on the size hooks that you're using, you will cut little pieces off. And I basically took an old pill container and I put the little pieces about a quarter of an inch to, about a quarter of an inch long. And I put it over the eyelet. I'm holding on a hemo. I hold it over the heat gun and it reduces down from 2 to 1. This is the type of heat shrink that it is. And when you do that, then you dip it in the paint. And when you're done, you take another hemo and right away you pull the heat shrink off. Eyelet is completely clean. You don't have to worry about eyelets being covered in paint. If you're using fluid beds, you probably don't have to worry about it because it's a very thin coating of paint. But I stopped using fluid beds because I'm not, if I'm making a bulk amount of jigs, then I want a fluid bed. If I'm making just a small amount of jigs or a handful of jigs, I don't use my fluid beds. So it's a fantastic way of doing it. The link is there. If you miss it, like I said, if you follow that link, you can use the 1/8 or the 3/32. Both work. One is for a little smaller jigs, and one is when you get the quarter above. If you're trying to make like 1/8 or 3/16 or net heads, you want to use the little smaller size heat shrink. So I bought both. It'll last you a lifetime. Cut a deal with a buddy where you split it. It'll cost you $10 a piece. You get both sides, and you both have enough to last you the rest of your life. So anyway, that's a heat shrink tip. And I wanted to make sure that you guys got your hands on that. Now here, listen, here's my other little material tip tonight. All right, so here is the other thing that I picked up on, and I'll tell you why. So I mentioned this on the show before, but Loon Outdoors. Actually, I'll tell you where I got it. Brian Wise from Fly Fishing the Ozarks posted a thing, and I saw it, and basically it was a Loon product, which is a fly tying company, or they design UV resins and tools for fly tying, jig making, whatever Brian, good point, when it's still hot, for materials, right? And so one of the things I saw they came out with, it was a Loon, 3 pieces of sizes. Hold on, let me see. I'll do a different color here so you guys get an idea. So basically there are 3 different sizes of these, like I don't know if you guys could see here. Hold it in front. So basically 3 different sizes, and what these 3 sizes look like reduced when connected. Hold on, let's see. Okay. So the basic fit and function of these is that you unscrew it. I'm going to put a link for this too. So what you do with this is basically, so I have all my fly tying materials, whether it be like dubbing, or you can even use it for bucktails or any other materials that you may have that come in little packages, right? Everyone wants to try and organize their stuff, and they want to put it in, like I just put up a pegboard in the basement. I'm building a little jig making station down there, and I still have everything in files and drawers. Well, the function of this is I could take all 5, 10, 15 packs of dubbing, slide it on there, and then I sit there and just close it up like this, and I could set it on one of my hooks on my pegboard or my workstation, and then they're all there right in front of me. I don't have them tucked in a drawer somewhere. This little kit, I think I got 45 pieces, guys. So I think it was 15.45. 15 of the small, 15 of the medium, and then 15 of the large for like $10. So it's a great way to organize your tools, or excuse me, your materials that you may have that you want to put out on a pegboard or anything like that. So I'm going to throw the link up for that. Oh my gosh, hopefully, yeah, let's see. Copy link address. So I'm going to put this one in chat too. These are my the CUDA hacks for today. So tons of uses for these things, but I will tell you this, somewhere along the way, if you're going to get into, guys, here's another thing. You could use this for anything you come up with. I mean, all I'm saying is that a 3-pack of these things from Loon costs $6 or $5 for a 3-pack like this. And I just got 15 of each of these for $10. So the point is, there's the link. If you want to use it, use it. Oh, let's see, Gary. What is Gary saying here? Found a small wood rack at Walmart for $9. Holds 60 spools of thread on individual pegs. That is a fantastic deal. I'm using it to hang jigs on the pegs while I paint eyes on them. Very nice. Gary, listen, somebody in this chat is going to kick me for a big mistake I made. So yesterday, I told you shower curtain rings. Yeah, basically, Gary, that's basically what it kind of is. And you can in and out of your materials. And as you acquire things, if you're making hybrid jigs, it just becomes a great little tool to leave your stuff out and have it visible where you can still access it. So I told you it was my middle son's birthday Thursday. And so yesterday he wanted to go down to Chinatown in downtown Chicago. And we did. So we go down to Chinatown, the whole family. There's 3 Murphy boys, Lady C, and myself. We go down there and we're in one shop in Chinatown and we're checking out. The kids are getting something. I don't know what the heck it was. And we're checking out. And I look and there are these peacock feathers. It's not even a feather. It's the hurl of a peacock, but it's like 4 feet long, right? And it's on the end, it's got the peacock feather, which is basically the peacock hurls that you would use and buy in a pack for like $3. See you, Nate. For $3, you'd buy a pack that are like this long, and I got one that's like 99 cents. I picked it up and I said, this is only 99 cents. Usually a pack of this will cost $2-3, and there's probably about 20 packs worth in here. Did I buy it? No, because I didn't want to be walking around with a 4-foot long peacock hurl feather thing around Chinatown. So I didn't get it. I also don't use peacock hurl that much. But the point is, I found a deal. And if I ever need it, I'm going to go back to this shop down in downtown Chicago in Chinatown. So Clint is right. You can never have too many, right? So anyway, guys, I just throw these little hacks out here. Let's see what else. You guys have any questions about Jig Squad, things coming up? I got a lot of things on here. Okay, so everyone's asking about merch. Guys, I still didn't nail down an official logo. So I'm going to say 2 things now. Anyone that sees this in replay, anyone that's live, if you are a designer yourself, I have somebody that I was going to talk to. It's my sister, to be honest with you, who's a graphic designer. If you know somebody or you yourself are a graphic designer or are interested in talking, send them my way. I'm not making money off of Jig Squad, and I'm not looking to spend, this grand old design on a whole nother level. Right. But I do have standards on how I want things to look. Right. So I'm working on design. I have what I want in my mind. And so I'm working on that. So once the design's done, whether it's with my sister or somebody else, if you know somebody, send them my way. Then we'll work on some stuff. Right. So probably hats. I know I'm talking about that. Yeah. So that's coming, right? Okay, another thing. And these are all things that I know that people had asked me about over time. So I'm just kind of bringing them up. So somebody told me, like, I don't bring up shares or likes or subscribes often enough. And I'll try and do that. So hit the like button tonight. Share. I don't know if I've ever shared a YouTube page in my life, but they say, everyone says share. Just like it. Just like it and subscribe. Pass the word on. When you guys see shows or you see the links coming up for shows, post it on your story if you're on Instagram. I appreciate it. Guys, we're not doing too bad. I mean, what am I at? 380 some odd followers, and we do one show a week, right? So I think we've done pretty good. Obviously, a little lower attendance live tonight than normal, but that's because it was just last minute thing. But we're usually each week it seems to increase of max users in the room at one time when we're doing a show. So we're over 70 plus that we hit usually each week, which is great. So I'm more than happy. We don't even have 400 followers yet. So yeah, like I said, the plan is to grow. We're gonna keep going. So Andrew, listen. So fishing the 262, Andrew keeps talking about a flow hat, and like I don't know how it can't happen now. Like it's got to happen. There's got to be some version of a flow hat. Maybe we'll come up with like crazy old school things. Like you remember the old wristbands that you used to have, like the terry cloth wristbands? Maybe we'll make like Jigsquad wristbands. No, we're not going to do that. So some version of hats. Everyone likes a hat, right? So the Richardson 112s, that's the way to go. I do like the Flex Fits Richardsons as well. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, but that's the plan. So merch can't happen until we get to the point of doing that. So all right. So somebody else asked me, they're like, what am I doing with the money I'm making off of Jig Squad? Well, I'm not making any money off Jig Squad. And here's another thing. I'm going to just put this out there, and this is not a knock on anyone else out there. I have some awesome friends that I've met in this industry that are even in the chat right now. That, they have more followers. There's certain standards that YouTube has that you have to meet in order for you to do different things. Like monetizing, channel memberships. You need 4,000 watch hours of time by viewers, 1,000 plus followers. These are some of the standards that you need. So like watch hours, how many watch hours am I at? I don't know, maybe about 2,000 right now, close to that. We're a little shy of 1,000 followers, but the day will come, right? We're not chasing anyone down. So when those things happen, somebody said, are you going to do channel memberships? So I've seen it been a very rewarding thing for other people that are doing YouTube. But the thing is, everyone I know who's doing channel memberships, they also put out other content besides live. So as of right now, I have no intention of doing other content besides bringing the peeps together. Right? Like I like doing the live streams, but I will tell you this, Fishing with Gramps is in the room. Everyone out there, anyone who does shows or puts out videos, it is a lot of work, and the editing behind it takes some time. And I'll give you an example. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go on Do It Mold's Instagram page and scroll back a little bit, and you'll see within the last 3 weeks, there was a video put out by me, and it was a custom video, edited, music, the whole 9 yards. And I did that myself, and it was the first time I ever did it. And I got to tell you, it took way longer than you would imagine. It was just shy of a minute video, and I can't even tell you how long it took me because there was a lot of learning that went into it and about organizing your shots or your video scripts, and there's a lot to it. So I hats off to everyone that does it. I'm not interested in doing any of that. I'll put out videos once in a while for, product stuff and cool things. And, but in terms of my YouTube page, I'm not interested in doing it. I have a fantastic family. I love my family, 3 fantastic boys, a beautiful wife. I make less jigs now than I normally used to, running Jig Squad, but that's why I'm going to every other week right now. Yeah, so I don't have any intentions of doing that. So whatever the slow creep is, do I care if my channel's monetized? I could care less, you guys. I'm going to tell you right now. Do I want to make good connections in this industry? Do I want to design? Do I want to work with other people? I do. So we'll see what happens in time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about channel memberships, because if you do a channel membership, then you feel like you got to give your people something for what they're paying for, right? And so a lot of times, a lot of YouTubers, what they do is they'll do like an extra stream a month and things like that. So, and I'm right in the middle of cutting down on streams. So I don't care about the money. I just want you guys to all have fun and like and share. And I hope you get something out of it and share it with other people. If that happens, I'm doing what I like to do. I'm doing this for the reasons why we're all here right now, and just trying to connect people. And there's gonna be more ways for that to happen. Look at Duffy and everyone else was talking earlier about like, hey, what about doing meetups and stuff like that? We can do that. We definitely can do that. So we'll see what happens. That'll happen down the time. All right, sponsors. Here's the next one. Guys, you getting all the juice tonight. Gary, that's awesome, man. Like I said, that's the thing. And you know, sometimes people see some of the different people that I bring on. And this isn't, because I bring some people on and there's other people I don't have on yet, right? It doesn't mean that I think more about one person than the other. It's just, I'm trying to highlight some different things, some different styles, some things that I see in design that I would like to see the world be exposed to. And there's a lot of people in chat that have been around the block and are, phenomenal tires and been doing things that are better than me. For sure, unquestionably. And then there's people that are new. And if we don't create a community where all are welcome, then we're good for nothing. So that's the goal. So I'm going to play the hegemon a little bit in that role. And that's what it is. J-Rod. Let's see. Individually making jigs. Hold on. I'll highlight it. Individually making jigs is not a money-making adventure. It's for the people you meet. Yeah. J-Rod, that's a great comment. So it's one of those things if you're a jig maker, you're either all in, like from a company perspective and making jigs and it's a labor of love too. And you really know what you're up against. And you make that commitment, and it's definitely a consideration that people have to make. For me, I made that decision a long time ago. I just said I wasn't going to sell, and I thought about it. Like I really, really thought about it because I have some crazy cool designs that I'm like, wow, I would love to put out there. But that's kind of why I started Jigsquad, because to me, it was like, man, I feel like I want to get my creativeness out there and have other people see it and allow it to be exposed to others. Right. But I didn't want to sell. So I had to find another way to do it. And Jigsquad was it. So, white whale fishing. What's happening? Tom, hold on. Let me go back. What did Tom say here? I tried tying my first jigs this weekend. I think I will stick to buying them. All right, Tom, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, buddy. If you are on Instagram and you message me, I'll give you my phone number. We'll talk, and I'll talk to you myself about how keeping it simple works and how you don't have to get big and complicated, because some of the things you see here are like some advanced stuff. And there's some real simple things that I guarantee I could help you with that will make your experience a little bit better, buddy. And I give you that. I will do that. So they're pretty ugly. Tom, let me tell you something. You listen, there are lots of things that people think they should do and things that they should not do. And trying to do more than what you're capable of is what frustrates all of us, right? But there are some simple, basic things that I promise you, if you need something, buddy, you find a way to get a hold of me. And if you don't have an Instagram, you find somebody who has an Instagram and you message me there, and I will exchange numbers with you, and I will work with you to help you out about keeping it simple and getting started. And you have my word on that. So there's a couple people that show up on the show that I've talked to individually, and I'll do it for anyone. So, yeah, look at Clint says, Tom, keep practicing. When you catch a monster on a jig you made, it is rewarding. Listen, I'll tell you, this is not a jig guy, but this is I haven't seen him on the stream before. If he is, he hasn't spoken in chat. There's a guy on Instagram. His name is Adam Mihara. Let me look it up. I want to say the name. Adam Mihara might be the name. Let me see if I got this right. I'm going to search for Adam. But Adam, I've been following Adam since I was on. Yeah, it's Adam Mihara, ADAMMIHARA fishing. So Adam's out in the East Coast. And this is what I'm going to tell you about Adam. And I don't think he's going to be mad at me for saying this. So Adam decided, just to keep his mind in the game in the last year, he said, I'm going to start carving out of wood with no past experience, my own baits, crankbaits. And he carves his own. And the reason I'm telling this story is because Adam puts crankbaits out there, literally, that he carved himself, and then he goes and fishes, and they actually catch fish. And I got to tell you, they ain't always the prettiest of things. But he paints them. They got color on them. They look decent. But he made them himself, and he puts them out there. He's no perfect crankbait balsa carver. And this dude catches fish on his crankbaits, and he's done this as like a mental health thing for himself. And I couldn't be prouder of the dude for putting that stuff out there. So, Tom, you keep putting your stuff out there, because there's no shame in anyone's game. And anyone who talks and puts people down because of the jigs they make or other stuff like that, they ain't worth any of our time. So it's just, it is what it is. There's a lot of elitists in the world too. Everyone thinks the next best thing. Man, you keep at it, buddy, because I'll tell you what, I'll help you myself, right? And then you can blame me when they don't look good. Brian says, no such thing as an ugly jig. True story. Pratt Wayne. You know what, White Whale? I have not fished Pratt Wayne Preserve. Brian Schmidt. Guys, listen, I don't know if you saw the Brian Schmidt show. It's Hair and Feather 101, I think is the title of the show. If you go, I mean, Brian is just a tying beast. Brian might, well, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple other people that are good tires too, right? But Brian, in terms of fly tying techniques that have been incorporated into bass jig design, Brian is one of the best of the best. And if you have not watched the Feather and Hair 101 video or show, Brian Schmidt was our guest. He is next level, and you should go watch his stuff and check out his jigs, because they sell them on Tackle Warehouse. And like I said, there's no sale jobs. No one's kicking me back any money on any of this stuff. People are on here because I like their stuff. That's it. Stick with it, Tom. All right, let's see what White Whale say here. Tom Morehouse, all our first jigs are bad. You just got to put your nose in the dirt and grind it out. Yeah, well said, buddy. Andrew's another guy too, man. By the way, Andrew paints some amazing crankbaits. He really does. And if you're not following Fishing the 262, you should be. He's on Instagram as well. His own jig that he tied. It was Game Over Addicted. Clint, what's Clint saying? He's inspired me when he talked about how long he worked at it a day. Yeah. Let's see. Evan Luda from Omerta, who was on a couple weeks back. Check out Evan's show. Anyone even thought about tying glass beads or tungsten beads on a jig to give it more sound? So Evan, what a fantastic statement. So I don't know if we got any of our, I saw on the fly in here earlier. So if you, for the fly tires out there, right? They will tie jigs with tungsten beads on the front of them all the time. And they'll do it on jigs all the way up to 16th ounce. I don't see why you technically can do it on larger jig sizes, 3/32, 16th ounce. I guess you can even go up to 8th if you want. And look at Brian saying you could tie 3mm rattle. So in the fly tying world, there's slotted beads, and I think the tungsten beads, many of them are slotted as well, but there's such a variety of them. You basically slide them over the hook shank, tie them on, and you could do a lot of different things in terms of adding a little clack to it. And funny enough, Evan, there's a guy called Bugs Fishing. He's down in Texas. He does a lot with rabbit zonkers and stuff like that, but he ties a lot of saltwater stuff. But if you look him up online, Bugs Fishing, he actually makes, and this is a pretty common thing. He makes a lot of the shrimp imitation jigs that the guys will tie down that way. They'll do some of that with like a clack type of fly or jig or whatever they want to call it. So something else you can look. Yeah, Brian says glass breaks though, right? All right, let's see, Clint. What does Clint say here? The trick with the heat shrink rattler tied is kind of cool. Been tinkering with it. Yeah, I saw that. And yeah, there's a lot of different options, right? The thing is, like, Brian Schmidt will be able to tell you about this from the fly tying world. So, like, when I first started learning how to tie flies, so I could try and incorporate some of those techniques in the bass jigs, right? I basically saw things and I would try and like imitate exactly what somebody else was making, and I'd buy those materials. And sometimes people say, "Hey, that's not a good thing because you don't want to 100% imitate somebody." Well, if you're starting out small, it's not always a bad thing to try and use the same materials somebody's using. So then you're only buying a couple things at a time, right? So if you buy the materials for one fly and you spend 15, $20, right? And you're able to make 20 of those flies, you didn't do too bad for yourself, right? The problem is when you just start rampantly buying all types of fly tying materials and and you've got so much stuff, you don't even know what to use anymore. and it just kind of sits. And it's like anything else, it becomes just like tackle and buying material. It becomes addictive. So, start small. And I would tell people to start with, I had a note on this. Somebody asked me the other day, I made a note here, wire versus thread and when bass jig design. All right. So here's my comment. So somebody else, you don't have to do it this way, but for me, if I'm tying up silicone jigs, I, I, I do it two ways, right? But to keep it simple, we're going to say if I'm tying up just silicone jigs, I'll use wire, 26 gauge. Sometimes I like going down to 24 gauge wire, but 26 gauge is thin enough. I like that it hides the profile a little bit. And when you twist it up and fold it over, it's not that big of a deal. If I'm using just silicone. If I'm making a hybrid, if I'm using hair, it's always tied. But if I'm making a hybrid jig, so it's a combination of silicone and hair, I like to tie it in. And here, I'm going to say this. So, and Andrew says you started with bucktail, which is crazy because you want to know what, Andrew? The hardest thing for me to learn to tie was bucktail, frankly, because of thread tension and things like that. But I digress. But so let me tell you why I'm saying that. So one of the things I see a lot of people do, whatever, design jigs as you want. But I think one of the things when people are starting to talk about hybrid jigs, one of the things I see happening is that guys that tied silicone jigs are starting to add in bucktail, marabou, different types of materials into their silicone skirted jigs. And a lot of times it's underneath the silicone. And so it's cool. It's a great way to get into that material. But one of the things that does is it just, that silicone as the outer shell of those fly tie materials impedes action, limits a lot of the effects that you're getting from the function of making a hybrid jig. So not all the time, but I'm just telling people that design with intention. Like, what is the function of why you're trying to do things? So like a lot of times when you'll see a hybrid jig, you'll see that it's a slighter amount of silicone, right? And maybe a little more, and the hair is a little more pronounced, but you have to think things through. You can't just, you could just throw it in there and call it a hybrid jig. That's why hybrid jigs is such a wide variety of calling for what people call it. But anyway, just some of my own basic observations. All right, let's see. Look at Evan. Brian, we need to talk. So Brian says you can load tubing up with rattles too, if you want to go weird with it, right? So the heat shrink idea of what people were talking about, guys, is you can do a 2-1 reduction. You can put glass rattles inside of it, heat shrink one part of it or the whole thing, and then pierce it or tie it on the inside of the jig. So I personally, I'm not a big fan of rattles on jigs. I never have been. So it's funny because everyone's got different thoughts of how, what you can do. And the thing is, no one's right or wrong. Fish your jigs however the heck you want. Like I personally think that, like, in time, I'd like to get more saltwater jig designers to come on Jigsquad, right? Why? I don't know, because I just think they tie some different things. That's why the steelhead people are so amazing to me, because they tie such phenomenal things. And if you look at the steelhead jigs, if you start imagining some of what they make in 1/0 and size 1 still, but in that 16th ounce or 8th ounce size, man, those things are money. And you have to be willing to figure out what colors you're going to use. And the one thing I'll say is people shy away from colors all the time, but yet some of the biggest things that we get excited about when it comes to jigs, like I like natural colors. And so I really like bright colors as well, but it's no different than why people choose like a fire tiger crankbait or like pink. A pink crankbait. Talk to any smallmouth guy about a pink crankbait, and half of them will tell you you're not supposed to talk about it, and the rest will tell you, yeah, it's one of the best things going. Everyone's got their jig and what they like, but you guys have heard me say this too, right? So like I say flow, color, design. That was the jig squad thing, right? And we talk about it in every show, but one of the things for me was, and I brought this up before, but the reality is the reason flow went first, and you guys hear me say I love color, it's because the flow of color means everything to me. And it's not just the flow of the movement of the jig and what it does, how colors mix and match together is extraordinary. And you have to, like, if you guys look at the tertiary colors that Brian Schmidt, if you guys haven't gone and looked, you got to go back. Brian Schmidt, how long ago was it? On Jig Squad, 4 days ago, I posted a swim jig that Brian Schmidt made. And if you have not seen it, go and look. It is, oh my goodness, it's amazing. It's just amazing. And if you ever wonder what I mean by flow, go and look at that jig and don't ever forget it. That's what I mean when I talk about flow. And it's not just because of the material, it's because how those colors mix and match and interplay. The chartreuses, the blues, the pinks, all of it. And it is delicious. Bass, what are we saying here, my man? Tied a couple silicones and old rubber, school rubber today. That's fantastic. So rubber, that's a great thing because rubber is my new favorite thing. And it's funny because I tie with a lot of flat rubber. I'm actually gonna start moving into tying in more micro rubber styles. And then I love round rubber though too. And they just have different action in the water. That's just how it goes, right? You just got to find the things that you like to do and what motivates you. Let me see. I talked about saltwater jigs. I talked about wire versus thread, right? That's just for me. You could very easily could take thread. Where's Brian? Brian's in chat. Brian's custom tackle. He's made a post the other day where on Instagram where he was talking about tying silicone, and I think he tied it. But yeah, I mean, going to rubber silicone combo for my jigs, Gary. That's same for me, buddy. And the reason is I just want something a little bit different. I just want a little different action in the water. I just want something changed up a little bit. And I'm just playing around with it. I like it. If you go and look at some of the stuff, there's a lot of guys, a lot of people we've ever had on the show when they've done stuff with the rubber. It's just phenomenal stuff. All right, so I did some of the product spotlights. I did heat shrink, talked about schedule, I talked about tacos. Tacos is on the list. What's up, buddy? So I hope you guys understand. I do miss not doing shows every week, or will in April and May, but it's just it's for the best. Tom, just now, or did I miss it before? And Andrew saying, I tie silicone because I hated the rubber collar and had tons of thread for bucktail. You know what's funny, Andrew? Because I actually went back and started taking all the skirts that I had that were still good jigs, where the rubber skirts lasted years, 10 years, started to disintegrate. I went back and I tied over them. All right, Tom, good deal. It's all right. Let's see. I have to go look. I'm sorry. I got to go look at Tom's jig. Dude, can I show Tom? Can I show this? Brian, I'll talk about it in a second. Tom, are you okay if I hold my phone up and show that? Yeah, Clint, you're right. The collar always degrades, and you can make them last for a while. Tom may not want to do it, but he posted it. And hold on, Tom, I got to get a follow in on this one too. All right, so hold on, Tom. Guys, I know it's hard to see. I'll try and block out some of the camera lights. Hold on. All right, ring light over on the side. You guys see these? Hold on, hold on. You guys see these? Look at that. Tom, I think they look great, dude. The flare is just a little heavy on the front side, but there's ways, like, you got to play around with it. There's different ways you could do it. I think those look great, buddy. I'd fish those. Or your other option is, Tom, what you could do is you could trim up the hair flaring out of the front a little bit shorter, closer down to the ball head. But it's great, dude. Dude, we'll talk. You're well on your way. And the tying work looks good too. And you even tied them. And you didn't use wire. So you actually tied them. Dude, nothing to be ashamed of. So hey, Tom Morehouse, guys, if I want you guys to go follow Tom Morehouse so we can make sure we stay on top of this gentleman and help him out. So it's Fireboats, FIRE. I'm gonna type it in chat. At Fireboats. I'm gonna spotlight it too. This is Tom. You go check out his jig and give it a little love. Tom, we'll help you out, and a lot of people will help you out too if you need anything. A lot of good people around here. So I don't know, dude. I think it looks pretty good. I'd fish it. I might trim up the front of it a little bit. The Nature Boy flare. Yeah. Round head. Tom, round head on that one? I think so, right? Let's look again. Yeah, I think a round head. Yep. Thank. All right. So anyway, if there are some people along the way, there's different people that I'm gonna try and talk to. I know there's a lot of people who express interest in coming in the shows. And all those things are gonna happen in time, right? You may see me around on some other people's shows. Um, I know people ask me and are like, hey, Mike, how do you go about deciding when you're gonna stream? I'll be honest with you guys. There's shows going on every night of the week. So that's no knock on anybody. I love all the other guys out there. There's a lot of people that run in similar circles in some of these live streams. That's fine by me. You can watch my replay. I don't care. We're Jig Squad. The squad rides no matter what. Fishing the Southeast. What's up, buddy? Keep experimenting, Team Lopez says, right? Yeah, and listen, guys, if you have not Fishing with Gramps, so Fishing with Gramps is a YouTuber, post some videos, but started doing lives. You got to go check him out. He's about as down to earth as you get. I like him because he's a Midwest boy too. And he's close to my own age, right? You got all these young whippersnappers out here, Gramps. So now I'm not too far off from Gramps. So I'm 49 and Gramps is close to my age, not too far off. So but you should go check out Fishing with Gramps YouTube page, his Instagram as well. He does a live show typically on Friday nights. So you should go check him out. He has some great guests on and just talks about some phenomenal things. And Gramps is yeah, how do you like that, HB? The jigs for the classic. So Gramps just started making jigs. And I'll tell you what, the reason I like Gramps is his favorite bait is almost the same favorite bait as mine. I like an exposed hook tube. He likes a stupid tube. And he loves it. And the first jig, he starts pouring, right? He just started pouring jigs. The first thing he makes was a stupid tube. And what does he start doing after that? Making soft plastics, his own tubes. So check Fishing with Gramps out. Talking about a guy, he's been around the scene a little bit. He's got a YouTube page, tremendous following. And then here's somebody getting started, making his own bait. So we're all in the same boat together. Yeah, Christy for the win. Bass, you're going to be 59, so you're in the old guys club with us. Me, you, Gramps. I don't know who else is in this older guy club. You got a lot of these young whippersnappers out here. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Guys, tonight, I mean, like I said, I wanted to give you guys a little insight into the world of, what's happening with Jig Squad, what I'm doing, what the next couple of months are going to look like. Yeah, Clint, see, look at maybe we got more guys in our club than we thought in this 50 club. Tom Morehouse, look at this. I love it, man. All the old guys coming to Kuda's show. Bruce, what's up, buddy? Welcome. HBA saw jumped in. And Duffy's 52 too. But maybe I spoke too soon. I think all the young guys aren't on the show tonight. This is the Sunday night crowd. Team Lopez, I like 26 gauge. Look at E-Stacks in the house, 58. This is great. We might have to do this like senior night. Maybe we'll call this senior night. Jeff Gas. Is everyone in chat tonight? Lee, guys, where are you at? No one opens their traps, and now everyone's coming out of the woodwork, and we're up to 40 tonight. Usually on Thursday nights, we'll have 70 some on the stream or something like that. But here we go. This is great. Guys, we're going to have senior night. Wait till the summer. Seniors and a cocktail. Fishing with Gramps says, we're the group getting ready to go to bed after setting the coffee pot. I got to tell you, I'm going to bed earlier and earlier. And Gary, 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 we gotta have to have you on the show one night and take us in and just tell us about the history of all this. Because, see, look at Andrew, 43. I thought you were. See, you're like the young guy in the room tonight. I think Brian Cole's younger too. I'm not sure how old. It's all good. You guys, listen. The insider end, like I said, it's going to be live streams. I'm not planning on doing shows. Hellabass is in the room. He knows how crazy it is making videos and the time that goes into making them, and it's a lot less than doing a live stream. That's for sure. And so that's why I'm not doing it. Right. Look at Evan Luda, 33. Good gosh, my eyes starting to go south when Evan was born. Anyway, guys, it's tons of respect to all you. Hey, whoa, I just saw is Ken in the room? Ken, O2 Man 98. Ken, somebody was talking about doing a meetup up in Door County. So I just know Ken's up that way too. So we got to keep these things in mind for when they happen. Can senior night, Michael Bradley, you know what we're gonna do? This summer when I'm off, because I am off for the summer. When that happens, we're gonna do like a some special little senior night, and we can let all the young cats slip in, all the clubbers. I don't know what to say. Look at Tom. Tom, see, very well said. I'm gonna highlight this one. Tom says I'm a young 63. That's great. That's what I like. So yeah, I know, Ken. Who, when, and where? Who was the one who brought this up earlier about a show? Brennan's 26. See, Brennan says the only reason he's awake is for the squad is because he's got a young one at home, and this is what happens. The young ones keep everyone busy. Duffy, you're right. Hellabass does a phenomenal job. So, but like Gramps, guys, listen, you got to stay on Gramps' case because he posts. He's got some good editing skills, some good tech skills. He's been all in on making some of the tapered tube jigs. Some of the tubes I see he's been making. So, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, you want to see honest people, stick around the jig scene. And, if I mention people's names, I mean, who am I, guys? I'm Mike Murphy. I'm Kuda. That's who I am. But I mean, if I say like I think somebody's legit and worth people's time, then that I just mean I think they're good people. So I don't promote clowns. I don't promote goofs. Never will. I never have. But you hear me say their name, I think they're good peeps, and I put my word on those people, and it is what it is. So, so we have 40 in the room. So any other topics? Let me look at my list again. Was there anything I didn't cover? We covered tacos. We covered 9 weeks in a row. That was great. I should have gone for 10, but I couldn't do it. I'm not passing on last week, my son's birthday, which was a fun time. So, all right, let's see. Fishing the Southeast. What does he say? I just posted a how to get started in soft bait making video on my channel as well. See, now this is fantastic stuff. So do you have Fishing the Southeast? Do me a favor, buddy. Would you post a link to your channel in the comment section on this video? And then anyone that wants to show a little bit of love to Fishing the Southeast can go and check that out. We have to kind of support each other here. Look, so Gramps is saying, I plan on having enough baits I make with dual molds to fish with in the spring. So one of the things Gramps has been doing is he's been taking some of the chatter baits. Thunder Cricket. What was the one the other night? Oh yeah, Brian, I got you. I didn't forget. So, and he's been putting some new skirts on, and he's kind of been practicing his little tying skills. So Gramps is well on his way and doing what he needs to do. So you can't ask for more than that. All right, Rick, welcome, buddy. 71. You just started tying jigs. That's awesome, buddy. That is awesome. Hey, and you know what? I really appreciate people jumping in and saying something in chat. Just keep in mind, guys, when we have different people on and it looks like these guys are like putting crazy stuff out there, like Brian's custom tackle, or this week, Brennan's going to be on. Just know that, just pretend you're sitting in a garage having a cocktail with your buddies. I mean, that's how this community should be. And so I'm going to keep trying to make it all that, right? All right. So Brian, upcoming molds. There are new molds coming. And, I will say this. I do not have any of the new molds in my hands. So I don't feel bad about sitting there thinking about it. But I will say this: I have ideas that there's going to be some cool stuff. So I'll leave that up to Brennan on Thursday to kind of make mention about any new stuff coming from Do It Molds and what that stuff looks like. And I'll give him the floor on that. But there are new things coming. I'll make mention of this already because it's already out. If you haven't seen the 3 new colors out there, and hey, listen, here's the thing. Somebody said to me, they're like, yeah, you don't you don't have different sponsors on your show. And I said this earlier. I'm like, yeah, I don't have different. I work with a company. I work with Do It Molds. So here's the deal. 3 new colors out. They're fantastic. Check them out. If you like them, I personally think Go Time is crazy, crazy good. I have the paints. Go Time is off the charts phenomenal. Bama Craw, I'm sorry, but it's sneaking up on me, and it's got some gold and brown and orange in it. But Go Time is next level. It's like a green pumpkinish watermelon, but it's also got like blue and green, like a ocean blue, like a bright ocean blue and like a green flake in it. Check them out. It's on the Do It site. You'll see them. Brennan can talk about it. Hey guys, and you know what? Here's the thing. Just know the paints never stop coming. There's always going to be more paints that come down the line. But for the molds, Bri, I know they're coming. I think not too long from now they're going to be coming out, right? So, but I'll let Brennan talk about that. Team Lopez definitely need a few more molds. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, Brian. Sporting goods stores sell naked jigs too, if you want to practice without pouring your own. So here's the other thing too, guys. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to go look, but I think I still think that you could buy some naked jigs on the Do It Molds website. And even if you don't buy them there, you could buy naked jigs on Barlow's Tackle or some other places too, and paint your own. I had said last March when I was on the smallmouth crush stream, I made the comment. I'm like, listen, you could buy some on Do It Molds site, you could buy some jigs unpainted, and then you could get 3 colors and be sitting pretty. You can get white, black, and green pumpkin. And I honestly think that could cover me for my life. But if it wasn't for being a designer and crafter now I like all these other jigs, right? I'm able to do all these other things. But you can really get started pretty simply. And you really don't need all these other fancy things. You can buy some jigs. You don't have to get started with the molds right away. You don't even have to start getting with the pot, the lead. You literally can use some pre-made jigs and then just buy a couple colored paints and start messing around with a heat gun and you're golden. You could buy the skirts pre-made. You could buy the tabs if you want. And if you think that, that it's hard to get into, then find me on Instagram, message me, and I'll give you my phone number. We'll talk and I'll walk you through it. My goal is to get people started on something they don't think they could do. Let's see, Larry, what's he say? I'm not even going to lie. I got to get that Go Time. Reminds me of blue crab. Would look great for a tog jigs. Larry, I agree with you, but what about the blue craw? I already think that blue craw looks like that blue crab a little bit color too. I don't know if you're using that one, but I'll tell you what, that flake and Go Time, it's delicious. It's delicious. I love it. And actually, if you want to see what the color looks like, so if you go on the on the Jigsquad Instagram page, there's a post I put up the other day of one of Brennan's jigs. It's a swim jig, and he's actually using one of the old bass swim jig mold that's like an oldie. I don't know. I think it might be out of stock right now, but it's a phenomenal mold too. And just look at the color. It's on the Do It site, but here's the thing. The reason, as I said, the reason we're having Brennan on is to spotlight what he does. And it's not just because of the Do It stuff. Look, Hellabass is 43. See, I'm happy to hear you're closer to me than some of the young cats. I sense that from you. And high quality lure banks. So that's a new thing fishing the Southeast, right? So the crank blanks are new this year. And so is the bait blast, which is all the airbrush paint. And there are some crazy cool colors, which I have my hands on, and I haven't been able to get down and dirty that much with them. That's going to be more of a summertime thing for me. Yeah, but the crank blanks, they have them in. I actually grabbed a whole bunch of them so I can start messing around. They got some top water. I think there's 26 different styles and sides. A lot of the rattle trap style, three different versions of like the rattle trap style or minnow trap or whatever you want to call them. Definitely in that Vision 110 jerkbait style. 2 different sizes, square bills, almost like a DT10 style. And they're pretty reasonable. I mean, I think you get a 4-pack for $4 or $5, whatever they go for. So, check them out. They are on the Do It site. By Fishing Southeast, yeah, I have a lot in my hand. I do like the rattles in them. So we'll see how they turn out for my first airbrush painting. Just guys, I want to airbrush jigs. Not as much the crankbaits, but I'm going to do that too. So, all right. So listen. So Ken says this is good to know because Iowa just got crushed last night with storms, and we had one roll through too. Same storm that hit Iowa last night. So Ken said a lot of rain this weekend. Does it open up the rivers up here, getting close to putting the boat in? So, yeah, that's crazy to hear. I'm really shocked to hear that because I actually, funny enough, yesterday in Chicago area, I was looking and I'm like, there was still ice on some of the ponds, and all of a sudden today, it was just opened up. So I wish it was yesterday because it was almost 70 in Chicago. So Andrew says, I like the square bill. The 110 doesn't have enough thud in the rattle. Yeah, it depends if you want more thud on the rattle, right, Drew? It is what it is. I'm actually excited about using those. I'm gonna make some up for going up to Mille Lacs. Yeah, Gramps is getting hit in like Indianapolis area, roughly. You're south Indianapolis, right, Gramps? But the storms are coming through. So we had crazy high winds last night. So I don't know, guys, just one of those things, the goal of tonight was one to get on. Like I said, I don't have enough followers on YouTube to have that community forum where I can make a post and say, hey guys, no show tonight for last week. So I had to just post on my Instagram story. So make sure you're subscribed here so you get notifications when shows are coming up. And then also you got to hit me up on Instagram and make sure you're checking out the stories too. That's where I'm going to try and post things until down the line when I have that community option on YouTube. So, well, hopefully it helped out a little bit tonight, you guys. I'm not going to keep everyone forever. About an hour and 15 minutes. I had a good time. Gave me a chance to get on tonight, hang out a little bit. Jason Christie pulls the W in the Classic today, so I have to go and do a little more reading, but probably a lot of casts going on about all that. So, but anyway, guys, this is Jig Squad. Do me a favor. Every chance you get, when you see me post the links for the show, copy and paste the links. Every single time I post a show, I will always take the show's URL address and I will put it in my bio on the main page for Jig Squad. And so if you see me posting the show each week, hey, you don't have to do this, but it always helps. The more people that get exposed to the show, the more people we have part of our revolution and experience. Go and copy that link, share it. If you don't know how to share it in your Instagram story, go to your Instagram story. You're able to add click on the options to add links. So share it any way you can. We just want to have fun. Fishing the Southeast says, I'm going to give you a shout out in my vids to get some more subs. I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, Gramps is saying, make some of the shorts, all these options. That might be easier, Gramps, because I can do one takes on the shorts and I don't have to worry about all the editing. So, but anyway, guys, peace, lots of love. We enjoy having you part of the Jig Squad experience. Eric will be here, as he always is, for our Thursday show featuring Brennan Chapman. We'll see you Thursday, folks. I'm out. Have a good night, everyone. Peace. I'll do the little banner just because we have it. We'll do it. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.